Okay, there we go. Should be good. Hopefully. Looks like it's all good. Yeah, it is. Okay. Now, I need to quickly check if I did the thing last stream. No, I didn't get the wickling up there. Okay, we need to go do that then. I think that is my first mission for the day. Try and get that thingy. Which hopefully it doesn't take too long to do. Because if we grab that, and we go down here, and then quick, down here, yeah, and like that. Not quite, not quite. Will I ever get there? Who knows? But I'll get there at some point. Thing is, my controller doesn't make it much easier. But you know, I can still play games with my controller. I don't need the. I'm not gonna worry about getting the new. I'm gonna say it would be great if I could also get down. Oh no. Let me down, please. No. Damn you. Okay, let's give it another try. It'd be so much easier if I could just fit through that little gap there, but I can't. And we get up here. That. Now we go up the whole way. Whole way. Okay, there we go. Now we just gotta go down to here. And oh. I spent all that time and all I had to do was that. Well then. Also there's one up here, so I guess I might as well go look for that or do that one while we're here. And I think that's most of the ones in the hills then. Yeah, I gotta go up here to get up again. But I think that should be most of the ones in the hills. I know there's at least like 1 or 2 wicklings in the area that I'm gonna go to next, which will be the get the skull thing done. Now, is there a fast way up? No. There is not. Now we go point. Why did I do that? Damn it. I don't know how I missed it so much. I don't know how I missed it so much again. There we go. Okay. Now I'm gonna get a save point there. There we go. Set myself up. Set myself up again. And there we go. Okay. Hello, the otter weasel thing. I can't remember the name. My memory isn't that good. And then again, I never claimed to have good memory, to be fair, so... Yeah, there's weevling down here. So... Yeah, it's right there. Right, I can't remember how I was meant to get it. Huh. Okay, can't do that. Got it! Okay, that makes things a lot easier. So now... I guess... I just spawned some slugs. I guess I can go down to this thing and turn that one on. Because I'm pretty sure I have 9. Yes, let's go to the skull area actually and do that. Oops, wrong ones. That was also the wrong one. Yeah, I think... What? Oh, that's how you were meant to get it. Uh-huh. I didn't even need to go the proper way because I'm just that good. I think I want to do the skull one. I think this skull should maybe do. Hopefully. If it doesn't, I'm gonna have to find something else that will work. Because I'm pretty sure they want you to use a skull. Or look like you have a skull. If that makes sense. Because I'm pretty sure that's all you have to do for it. Then again, I tried it before. I don't know if I tried it with the skull thing, but I have tried it before. There's Mushroom Man. Oh, it's loading things in. God damn your game. I should almost be back, because that's the thing there. God. Dying. Yeah, I mean, we're off to a good start. We've already found another 2 Weaverlings. And I think after I turn that thingy on down there should only be like 10 more Weaverlings, I want to say, is my guess. Which I can actually check. I don't know why it's taking so long to load everything in. It really shouldn't be. But I guess the game will do what it wants. So yeah, I think I can get off here. Where is it? I can't remember where they are. But the thing I need to go to is right down there. There's a dude that I can talk to that... Yeah, there he is. Actually, I'm going to talk to him. See how many Weaverlings I need to get. Because if it's 11, then that means I only need to get, like... Well, basically 1 and then the things. So I've fallen so many times. 5,000 fruit. Yep. That many laps. That much. That many bubbles. 377 slugs. Swing a total. Yep. Yes. Yes. Also, it said it collected rainbow something. I don't know. Here we are. You've collected 69. A funny number. 69 of 80 Weaverlings. Yeah, I only have 11 more to go. And I also need to find all scarabs, which I also searched that up. Don't know if it's true, but I think if you have a certain ball, you it shows like all the unactivated scarabs on the map, or all the activated ones. One of those 2 choices. So it'll either help me figure out where places where I might need to go, or places I do need to go. I gotta go. Yeah, down here. So I will just jump off the edge, and then problem solved. Unless I can't jump off the edge. I can jump off the edge, I think. Or does that send me back up? Oh no, that's what sends me down. Never mind. And this should take me where I want to go. Not quite. There we go. This is where I want to be. Hello, person. It's going to choose anyway. Give you a chance now. Do I not look like a skull? I'd say this is pretty scully to me. You know, if someone said you don't look like a skull, I would not believe them. I'm pretty sure this is a skull, if I've ever seen a skull. But I guess not scully enough for them. What else is there that looks like a skull? Let's see what you say. Let's see if we can do something about the ball, shall we? Jawball skull, poetic, isn't it? Not even wealth can stop the passage of time. Don't forget to bring me any... Yeah, I've already found all the things for you, miss. This one could look like a skull. The skull ball. Skull ball. Not a bejeweled skull ball, just a normal skull ball. That makes more sense. That actually makes a lot more sense now. So now we go down there. And then he'll be like, oh my god, you have a skull. You're truly one of us. And I'll be like, yes, I am. Now let me be a juicer. Am I gonna get in there? Nope. Damn. I finally got in there. There really wasn't much. I thought there might have been some like, woo, you did it, you got in here, but no. And now I'm all the way back down to the bottom. Please just let me in. And I'll do this. There you go. Now just let me in the thing, please. All I request. I just want to get into the thing. Please. You've sent me back in. No. Yes. Finally, we're back. Crack, jack, mac, whack. My jack sack. Huh? That's too many rhyming words. Too many rhyming words for me. Oh, so you're in the Skull Gang now, mate. Well, if that's the case, who am I to judge? I'll open the gate so you can get juicing. Yeah, how are you going, Lucas? And how has your day been? Yeah, so now... Yeah, there's a weevilling over there. And I think it's just fruit up there. And scarabs. Maybe these will be the final scarabs that I need. If they are, that would be great. If they're not, it'll still be good to at least have these ones dealt with. What if these are the last ones? Then that's two of the main things I wanted to do today. Done. There's so many fruits. I mean, it's not like I'm going to use the fruits, but it's good to have them. Ooh, buttons you can press. I didn't notice those before. That shoots me down there. Noted. That grabs one. Grabs two. Okay, that button's for the scarab. Noted. And that one went straight through the middle, so there's nothing I could even do there. I got work on an hour. Just building Minecraft. Oh yeah, what are you working on now since you finished? Yeah, you finished the house. Or was it the villager trading hall? Right. Completely forgot about that. Yeah, I still gotta finish my my fishing hut thing that I was working on. But it's like, I don't know, I need to find time for it, because I can't really do much tonight, because I got work tomorrow, and I have to go to bed, or should go to bed at a decent time. Whether I will or not, I don't know. Interior of the house, that would make sense. Oh, yes, get up there now. We need to get up. Where do we gotta get? Yeah, I gotta get up there. Damn it. Oh, weevilling! But before I get that one, there we go. Now, please give weevilling. Please! I didn't mean to do that. Okay, there's the weevilling done. Now we also gotta get the thingy over here. So I guess I'll do it at some point. I didn't mean to do that. Really hard to hit that one, isn't it? Yeah, what are you building in the house, Lucas? Okay, so just gotta hit that pad thingy. Yeah, so we just gotta hit the bounce pad there. That's not too bad. Okay, wait. Come on. Just hit the bounce pad, please. That's all I want to do. I've also got the 2 wavelings here, so I've only got like 9 more to go. I swear I'll hit that at some point. Yes! There's the scarab done. Just a few more scarabs left. Okay, there's that one. Just I hope it's just a few scarabs left. Now what is that that's following me? And okay, that's the juicer thing. Noted. Go on, actually up there I don't lose much. I think I only lose a bit of thingy. How am I meant to hit this? I guess like that. I just gotta hit it in the right spot again. Just right. I'll get it one day. I'll get there at some point. I was gonna say it's right on the edge. There we go. Now we hit it. How did I not hit it? That is my question. We're here looking. I want to clear my house. Have fun, dude. Okay, thank you, Devil Hunter. Very much appreciated. Please let me hit the thing. Very edge. I keep going to say on the very edge. It's gonna work at some point. I'm gonna get it. There we go. There we go. Just gotta get that 2 more. No! Damn it! I didn't even fall down that part. I fell down that one and then this one. Makes it even worse. It's not like I missed once, I missed twice. And yeah, we got that one. And we got that one. There we go. Okay. Oh, have I got to get this in as well? I see. What have I been trying to do then? Like, what's the thing that I'm trying to hit? Because I got 3 of the 4 things hit. I just don't know what it actually does. If it just gives me fruit, well, damn. But if I actually get something from it, that'd be good. There we go. Wait, why? I need to come through here and grab it again. Because I don't know. I guess I sort of grabbed the thing, but I see why it's having me do it. There's that, and now gotta go up here. Almost. There we go. Okay. Now I just gotta get in there again. There we go. I'll take it. There's another one. Ha! Now am I gonna turn that thingy? Yes. What did doing that do? Nothing. I'm guessing I need to get all the fruits in, and then that thing will do something. Again, I'm assuming. You shouldn't assume, but I feel like it's okay to assume when it's about a juicer. No! Oh, it's not too hard to get back up. There we go. Now I just gotta get into the right area. Like that. There we go. Easy peasy. Now I'm just gonna not drop the fruit. And it went in. There we go. Okay, the juicer should be all good. Yes, I can go talk to them now. Okay. Ow. Hello, person. Well done, Scrub. Didn't think you had the stuff. But you delivered. Anyways, I got some good news and some bad news. Bad news is the juicing business is slow. Slow pay. We've got to flip the cocoa juice if you get the big fruits. Good news is you'll be able to get a lot over time. Here's a couple of fruit now. Come back here later. I'll have more waiting for you. Oh, I see. If I quickly go back in there, do I need to do that again? Or is it just every now and then they give you more fruit? I'm gonna quickly check if I can get up. I think it might be all done. Because I go up there and it's locked up, or blocked off with the thing, and there's no thingies appear. I really can't get through there, can I? Please, game, just let me through. How have I only just started getting myself through there? Okay, there we go. No, things do appear. Never mind. No! Damn it! There we go, got it. Okay. Now, just gotta get this thing. There we go. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's just the same. Oh, you gotta go through there with the coconut and keep it there. Okay. Well, I've gotten the 2 weevilings here, so I guess I'll leave. Because yeah, I'll have to do that another 3 times. So I don't exactly know if I want to do it another 3 times. So yes, let me just fall down here, because I don't really need the fruits. Now, I'm going to head down to the thing down here. So basically just jump down here. It should take me there. Go down here. Yeah, it's down here. And off the edge. Oh, wahoo! And from here, I go straight down through this thingy here. Get there. Cross. Oh yeah, I got that thing now. That's new. Yeah, that one's already done. Okay. Right, I've already got that. There's now the new thing. Oh no, I think that was to be able to get into that area. Or maybe it was. I don't know. I'm still not sure what you can do with monkey. I don't think I've done anything here. Oh right, that was to get into the area there. Never mind. I'm the dumb. But yeah, we want to go there. Then we ride it down to here. And right here is one of the thingies. Activate! Yes! There we go. Only a few more to go. Now, I know there's 2 weevilings over this way. Yeah, there's one there. And then 2 up there. So 3. And I've already got 2. So I need to get those 3. And then there's only 5 more to grab. Which I'll figure out where those 5 are. Oops, didn't mean to go down there. Okay, where's the way out? The way out would be taking... Actually, no, that one was the way out. I just gotta go through here. There we go. Okay. No, get me through. There we go. Okay, time to make my way out. And jump. Up here. And up here. Okay, now there is a thing I do want to do while I'm still somewhat... Actually, no. I'll head over to the B... not the B area. Actually, sort of the B area. Basically, just to the area where there's the Weevilings. Yeah, I don't know how you get the one that's hidden in... Where is it? I don't know how you get the one over here. Looks like there's a little area that you can maybe go along somehow there. Unless it's in the water of that area. Let me do some investigating. Because I mean, it can't be in that many different places. There's only like a few ways you'd be able to get in. Is this the right way? Yes. Sort of. Huh, so these things actually make you heavier. And go. No! No! Okay, there we go. So now in here, we just gotta go across. And also, what is that thing? Actually. Oh, look in here. Ah, those blue things are showing me scarabs that I still gotta get. There's also a Weeviling over there that I missed. And that's where the last thingy that I gotta do is anyway. Okay, good to know. And there's also a Weeviling up there I missed. Apart from those two, I think that's most of the Weevilings. That'd bring me up to a total of 7. So there's 3 more. And I don't know where they are. There's a scarab down... 2 scarabs down there that I gotta get. Let's see. And yeah, 1 in there. Might as well go across there and get that one. There's 1 Weeviling there and the 2 there. And I think that's about everything. So yeah, I guess let's go do the scarab in here. Just gotta get across. So in here, and then down in this area? No, up. Okay. Wahoo! Okay, it's in here. Yeah, it's right there. Now, how do I get to it? By doing that. The thing isn't activated. So how does one activate it? Is it by going through I was gonna say, is it by going not through that, just going. Okay, please. Now I know why I didn't activate it. God. Is it by going through? I really wish I couldn't go through that thing. No. Don't suck me through. Stop, please, game. Also, there's actually a thingy here that shoots. Ah, never mind. I see what I gotta do. So we've done that one. So now I can come over and do this one. There we go. And I just gotta keep alternating. That's not that bad. And okay, I missed it. And go to jump. And there we go. Didn't mean to do that. Oh, we're getting there. We're getting the scarab. Slowly getting done, bit by bit. But how is the thing coming along, Lucas? The village thing that you were doing. Okay, we jump the gap. And there we go. That should hopefully be the last one that I need to maybe do. Damn it. Missed it. Okay, and not quite. Also not quite. Also not quite. Come on, just give me the scarab. There we go. Scarab done. And now it's time for me to get out of here. Because I am done. And now I just need to head up. And collect the weaverlings. We'll figure out how to collect them. Because like I said, there can't be that many ways to get into here. That area we've checked out a decent amount. So I'm thinking it might be through the water there. Or something. I'm not too sure yet. But I'll figure it out. Figure out how to get in there. Because there's got to be a way. But there's also 2 things that I gotta grab. 2 that aren't down there. Okay, how do I grab the 2 that are actually in here? There's supposedly one there. I'm thinking that's something to do with this worm. With the thingy there. And there's also one supposedly there. Oh. How did I never notice that one? It's literally sitting right there. How did I never notice it? Hello again, friend. You're welcome here at the hideout. Thank you. Oh no. Please no, I don't want to go off the edge. Not today. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do with that one yet. But I think I gotta explode it. Or explode that slug. I just don't know how. But I'll figure it out one day. What if I actually just... No. Oh, I'm so close. I don't want to go down there. Okay, what if I just try... Aha! That is what I had to do. Aha! Oh yeah, well now I don't have to worry about that anymore. So now, I'm gonna make my way down to that area. There's got to be something I can do. Down we go. Plus, while we're down here, we can then head... No, those are just the things. Those aren't the things I need to activate. Because yeah, after we do that one, we can head down here and activate those 2 scarabs. And I think that should be all the scarabs done. Okay, so where is it? It's way further down. Okay. I think I take that thing down, and then that'll take me closer to it. Okay, yes. So it's gonna go down here. And then, yeah, take this thing. Yeah, let's try and figure this out. There's a boulder there. Good to know. Right, maybe to get over to it and honk. I don't think that would destroy the boulder. But... why don't I destroy that? There's something hiding in it. God damn it. Destroy it. All I want to do. Oops. God damn it. I was not looking at them. What I was trying to do was this, so I could get a little jump to get back over to the blue. Now where does this shoot me? Nowhere. Okay. Don't think I can get to it from there. Might see if I can get to it from here. Can't get to it from there either. Might have to go into that area and have a look. And then again, there's a turtle there. I don't think the turtle would let me through. I don't think I'd have to go to the turtle. I don't know. How do I get out of here? That is not how. Okay, I think I just gotta go back out this way. So, didn't mean to hit that. And steam again. Steam time. Okay, no. I keep blocking myself. All I gotta do is go up there. All I gotta do is go up there and hold that one, and we're out. Okay. Now I'm gonna quickly go up here because I gotta get down. Okay, yeah, so I gotta go down and through to there. Okay. Down through the secret area. Quote unquote secret, I guess. Where does that take you? Where does this go? Ah. I don't know what I expected, I'm gonna be honest. But either way. Oh god. I think these should be the last scarabs that I actually need to do. So one of them is in here. And it's just the one over there. There we go. Now let me do the same over here. And yeah, in we go again, and why does it place to be right there in the middle? And there we go. Okay, one more done. One more down. Okay, there we go. One more. And then we still got to do it a few more times, I think, but damn it. Why did I do that? And yes, there we go. Can I actually just damn it, not quite. Can't quite cheat the system. But there we go, there's one. Now we got to get another one. Or not. It's not like I wanted the other one. Why did I do that? I was gonna do the thing where I hold the blue to get across, but then I realized it's too late. So I just didn't. Again, we go. That one wouldn't have been a thing anyway. So that's definitely what I'm gonna say. What's left? Just perfectionist? I think so, because I got to get the Weaverlings, the Scarab, and then I think I get an achievement if after collecting all the Weaverlings and going to the egg, I think. I have 5 achievements left to do, which 2 of them are just collecting all the Scarabs and the Weaverlings, and I'm not sure what the last 3 are. But also, how are you going, X-Wing? Jump off here. Jump off there. And I go up there. Okay, there we go. This one's more just tedious than anything. And go. Okay, yes. Still not activated though, is it? Oh no, it is. Never mind. Can you show inventory? Okay, let me quickly get out of here. And then I can. Damn it. Right, I gotta try and get through that thingy. Which means I need to do a lower thing. A lower one. Like that. Not quite that low. That's too low. But I really can't get in there now, can I? Now I'm getting in there every time. Please, game. Just let me out. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so this is what I have. Is there something I gotta get for a horn up there? Or is that just a stitching of the thing? I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, the last scarab's in the next room from here. To get into there, I gotta go... gotta do that, yeah. Point. I should probably do that. There we go. Now, yeah, just down here. Okay. There's a reason for that. I know the other 3 achievements. Okay. Well, I guess I'll do the main things that I know that I need to do, and then I'll try and figure, and then I guess figure them out. Missed which color? Is it? Can you open it shortly? I guess green. For which thing? Sorry. Wait. Oh, the scarab's right there. That's where it is. I gotta... These bouncers are really annoying having them right in the middle. Oops. Damn it. Not quite. Oh, inventory. Okay. Let me quickly... Once we do this. Okay. Nope. It wasn't quite what I was going for. Okay, so I jump over to that, and I think this will probably be easier if I do it from here. Yeah. Gotta do that a few more times. Okay, and... Oh! Which one? Right through the middle. And... Okay, almost. It's almost opened. Do those things ever run out of fruit? They do run out of fruit, noted. Okay, and... There we go, scarab done. Now, can it be activated more? No. Okay, now, where am I missing a scarab? I'm assuming maybe up here somewhere? Yeah, scarab right up there in that thingy. And I think that should be the last scarab that I need. But now it's time for me to actually get out of here. Wait, I can also show you my inventory now. Wait, so we also have all of... Press A to stuff letters into empty mailboxes. Huh. Already done that. There's all unopened treasure chests on the map. That one I have. Yeah, green. So, oh, do you mean I need one of these things? No, I have all the trackers, I think. What is this? Oh, that's the thing that lays the egg, right. Now we sneak down here, and... And get up here and hold that, and there we go, I'm out of there. Open big map and count the wicklings. Answer your question, I guess. I mean, I know there's 2 up here. I know I have 3 that I can't find, if I count the amount of weavelings that I have. Press X on, I mean on the map. Oops. Go to the map. And then press X. Yeah, there's 2 weavelings. And then there's one down there. That one, I am not sure how to get to. The other 2, I should be able to. Yeah, 3 plus 4 equals 7. So yeah. I see 3 and you're missing 6. Yeah. That means I'm missing a thing. That means I'm gonna have to find the thing. Ooh. Found one! Yay! That solves one of my problems. Now there's just a few more. Which one of them is trying to figure out how to get this one over here. Left of your scarabs? Left. What's it? Oh, do you mean how many scarabs I have left? Oh, directly left of where I am. Oh, there are some here. Yeah, you're right. So, I gotta do these ones. Didn't mean to go through there. So, I is in the area over here. Yeah, go through here and then head up. Through here. And go up. No, I have to go the other way, I think. Actually, I can get up from here. But yeah, there we go. Now, I want to go that way. And I want to head up again. So... Actually, I'm going to have to use this, yeah. And go hook. And then hook. And then hook. Here we are. Oops. Yeah, have you been up to much X-Wing? Now we go over here. And they're both in this area here. Okay. Okay. There's one thingy. There's another one. Okay, this one shouldn't be too hard. Damn it. If I say now. And miss the thing. God damn it. Okay, now one more left, and I think I should only have to have that thing turned properly a few more times. Like one more? Or two more? I don't know. One of the numbers. And again. Oops, didn't mean to go through there. Let me out. Let me out, please. There we go. Oops. I guess I should probably try actually getting all the way up the top. Up the area where I haven't gotten the other scarab, because that one's going to probably take a while to... You know, I'll just... Come with me. There's that one done, and the scarab's activated now. Okay. Now I just got to get the one up there, which is going to be the harder one. For me, at least. Actually, I guess if I do it like this, and then have the thing shoot me, that's not really that bad. Because it just, yeah, it sort of does it for me. Damn it, almost got through there. After you look around the area above you, and talk to MC, may help you. Oh, you mean the dude here? It's sort of hard without having a cursor to really point to things, but the other slug wrangler dude. Further up, okay. Further up from him. Okay, almost there. Am I going through it wrong? That deals with two of my slug problems. Do I need to go through it this way? God damn it. Yeah, I should get rid of a few. Nope, I just had to go through it there. Okay. The further up from him, do you mean some of the NPCs in this? Oh, do you mean the dude up here? Looking for Zoe, Soy, Dusk, and Cheapers. Not that far. In this area? I don't see many. The only NPCs I know are the one here and the ones around here. If we're talking about just a little bit above me. I mean, there's the one here, I think. Waterfall area. Okay. Yeah, I know one NPC at the waterfall. What is that shoot? Oh yeah, that shoots me up. And then, oops, didn't mean to do that. Ow. There we go. Okay. So I guess let's get out of here and head to the waterfall. Didn't mean to do that. There we go. You know, explode all of you. There we go. And now with that, here it again. Wavely. Wavely. How do I get up there? Oh, I know how I get up there. I needed a slug. There's only one slug that I can see now. So, guess I'm gonna have to use that one. No! Why did I do that? Can't even grab that slug. Okay, well, I guess I'll come back to that and talk to the people that you mentioned. Which I know there is someone here. Yeah, Zoe. I was studying when someone dumped a trunk down the falls. When it washed up there, there was something left inside it. But a sun bunny made off with it before I had the chance to check it out. Okay. So, a log. Wait, where does this take me? No, too far down. I don't want to go through there. Well, no, there's a sun bunny up here. Oh, and there's also the person there. Yeah, there's a sun bunny right there. I guess we can go talk to them. And go up. Sun bunny! I'm on my way! Yeah, there it is. Hello, sun bunny. Thanks for scaring off those suitling beetles. I thought they were going to get me for sure. Us sun bunnies don't get along well with them at all. The suitlings pretend to be harmless, but we know they're up to no good. I'm glad you had my back. I found this old thing below me. Please take it as a token of my gratitude. Oh. Well, that was easy. Now I have the tracker. So where is the last one? Also, inside the monkey. I don't know how to get the thing inside of it. Or, not the thing inside of it, but the things inside of it don't activate. Soy and Dusk are a bit below, Still Waterfall. Bit below. Well, there's the one that I found. Yeah, they're a bit below me. I mean, there's that one over there that I know. I don't remember seeing any others. Bit below Zoe. Oh right, yeah. I want to go in that area. Wait, can I get into that area? I've apparently gotten in there a bit before. He was in that area, yeah. Oh, wait, is that where the things are? Yeah, I need to get a crimson ball or something like that to be able to go in there, I think. So I'm gonna have to go up and get a crimson ball and explore that little area in there. Crimson ball? I mean, they say you have to have a crimson rope. I don't think it's necessarily a crimson ball. It's just a reddish ball. Yeah, somewhere in this, around here, they should be. I guess I'll go talk to that person. Hello! Path's clear. Yep. We've talked to you before, and you don't seem to really help. I don't think I've seen any other NPCs around here. Apart from the bunny and the one there. Yeah, sounds correct. Get the crimson ball. You want me to do it now? Actually, I guess I'm quite close to it, so I guess I could. No, I don't want to go down. Now we go. What am I doing? Oh, I guess that helps. Sort of. Okay, let's go down to here. Also, why didn't I take the faster way up there? I don't know. I mean, there's two things I know for. I think. Yeah, I know you gotta have the red. Oh, it's just crimson. Already. You know, all the unders have black color names. Licorice, tar, ebon, jet, charcoal, soot, obsidian, and pitch. I wonder what soy and dust could look like. You have a point. I mean, dusk would be the reddish, or like an orange, I guess. And then soy, I'm not too sure. Also, is the water color gonna rub off? No. Right, because I've already put it on. Now I need to go over this way. Yeah, I wonder why they're different to all the others. Oops. There we go, okay. This place belongs to the dead, and is kept by the Crimson Guard, ancient jailers of the Unders clan. The Crimson Ball identifies you as one of ours. You may pass. Let's go! We have failed. Our ancient pledge. The spirits of our traitor ancestors have escaped. Rage fills me. The betrayers are free to enjoy the outside world without a thought of their sins and transgressions. If you find the traitors, bring them back so that we may resume the eternal punishment. There they are. Aha, so that's what their names. Actually, no, I still need to find the other things. But anyway, I guess that gives me a reason to do that. And anything you hiding back here? No. Well, I guess let's go find the traitors. So, okay. Shouldn't be too hard to get over to there. Also, while I'm at it, I wanted to try and grab it, but I guess I'm not allowed to grab it. Okay, yes, quick. Go the other way. Go back. Go back. I didn't mean to. You know, we'll get there eventually. Hey, Unicorn, how are you going? And also, did you end up streaming The Eve Within last night? Wait, yes, maybe I can make it back in time. Hopefully I can make it back in time. Yeah, made it back. Okay. Now, I think... No, stop. Stop control, please. You know what? It just gives me another try. I get another attempt. Control, stop, please. There we go. Weeveling! Haha! Nah, how to go out? Okay, that's fair. But do you think you're... Because I know you said you weren't going to play the DLC. Do you think you're ever going to play the DLC? Maybe, like, come back to it? Or are you just probably not going to really worry about it? Because the DLC is shorter than the original game. I mean, they're still, I guess, decently long for a DLC. Probably before the second game. Oh, okay. That sounds like a good idea. Long? I mean, yeah, then... Because I think one of them still took me like 4 or 5 hours, I think. Oh, now I can go into the monkey. Now I understand. I could actually go in the monkey now. Well, I mean, I could go in the monkey before. It's just... I couldn't interact with anything in the monkey. So you're planning to do, Resident Evil 1 after thing, aren't you? I need to suck them up. There's one. And there's... wait. Huh? Oh, now I can hit those... hit this thing, I guess. Okay. I could have sucked... I just sucked it up through the wall, yes. Oops. I gotta remember to do... I mean, at least me falling doesn't really do too much, to be fair. By that, I mean as in, I don't really lose... Well, I lose fruit, but I don't really need fruit at this point. There we go, got it. Now we gotta get the other one, which I gotta change the things for. So, I want to, please send me up to the roof. There we go. Now I'll let myself fall through, so that I can do that. And there's one. No, god damn it! Send me back to the roof, please. Yeah, the thing might help. Oh, so you can, I'm guessing you also use that thing. And but having a job, believe it or not, makes it really annoying to try and catch streams. Because I have it like, I usually work like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So it's like 3 days. Well, yeah, 3 days of the week where I can't really stop by. Job evil, yeah. I mean, I gotta make money somehow. But I can't really just quit. I'm close. I'm close to hitting the thing. I'll be mine next week. Are you looking forward to leaving it? Please hit it. Why can I not hit? Please. I feel like I gotta be hitting it, am I not? Go! Please! Just blow it, yeah. Maybe I should have done that to begin with. And there we go. I got it. Easy. A little bit long. It took me longer than what it should have. But we got there. Now I just need to actually get out of here, which... That's a different story. Please let me out. Now I just gotta... Yes. Okay, we're out. Now, why am I going down there? Now we come out here. And go up. And up again. And there we go. Okay. Now we gotta head back give them the ghost soul things. And then... Actually, while we're going through here, I might try and go grab a slug if more have spawned. No more new slugs have spawned. Okay. Might have to leave the area and come back. Get more slugs. But anyway, now we can go down here. And I need to talk to the other one. Here you are. You brought a trader back. Excellent. Place it inside the cage so we may resume something. Okay, well there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. There you go. You'll return the betrayers to the prison, in which they will resume their eternal punishment. Please accept this medallion as your reward. You have earned it by showing you are sympathetic to our rage. This medallion is the ancient relic of the Unders, passed down through generations. Anyone who wears it will receive great fortune. Well, thank you. You got the boon of plenty, doubles the value of every... That sounds good to have. I mean, I don't really need it now, but good to have. Now, what other Wickling am I missing? Also, I noticed that I just remembered I got the one there. That's the reason why we want to do Thorn's quest as soon as possible in a 100% speed run. That's why I start the run literally dying 50 times on purpose for 40. Ah, I see. So you can go and do that. Well, now I have to, I guess... How many things do I have? 6. I'm still missing 1. Where is the 1? Oh, right. The one that I'm missing is over here. This damn thing. I guess I will quickly... I didn't mean to head up here, but I'll take it. I'll go this way anyway. Nope, I need to go back down there. I guess I don't have to. So I can come along here. So I want to go into this area down here, because I'm thinking, but no, the turtle's there. But maybe you can go down there and then go around and up. Because I've tried looking in this area, and I didn't find much, because there's a boulder like there blocking you from dropping down. And I've tried that area there. You did? I'm pretty sure there was a boulder last time I went there. Let me check again. And the last part. Oh, you mean going down and around? I haven't tried going down and around there. The last? Oh, you mean going through here? I think I tried going through. I guess maybe I haven't. Fastest way would probably be shooting myself out, I think. Wait, would it? Oh no, I'll just go down this way. Yeah, down here and then down there, and then that should take me down to that area. I guess we'll try that one then. But I guess how was your day, Unicorn? I'm guessing you haven't slept? Okay, go down here. And go down. Also, I got my recap for the Twitch recap thing. And my most used emote is the dog. I wonder who sent it enough for it to be that. Or I've tried through here somewhere. Ah, I guess I was trying down too low. Well, there's that one. Now we just gotta have it over to the thing, and over here. Your most used? No, the most used in my chat. Oops, this is the wrong one anyway. Yeah, now we just gotta grab the other ones and turn the thingy on, and then we'll be all good. And so I have to change it. I mean, I wouldn't be able to see if it's changed till next year, because, I mean, I probably could. I think there is a thing showing you how many times... Actually, no, it doesn't show you which ones have been used. It only shows when your emotes have been used. So I'd have to wait till the whole next year to, to see if it's changed. And now, we've got to wait for all this to load in. Doggo is in this? Yeah, that doggo. I don't think it says how many times it's been used, but it's the most used in my chat. Now, am I going to the right area? Why did I take this one? I need to go up. My brain. Why did I use that one? Because, yeah, I can get the blue from over there, yeah. Wait, why did I don't understand my brain sometimes. The raid message, blow over, did I? I didn't get the notification. The last notification was a hydrate. Who raided? I am confuzzled. The emote that you... Oh, someone in your chat. Never mind. The emote they used is no one in my channel. Even though it was only used in that one day. Never mind. I was reading it wrong. It was for you. Never mind. I was very confused for a minute. Which bug? Nah, we're all good. Like if you use this a few more times. Yeah, I mean, it probably won't be too much till I use it. I mean, I think one year, one of them was an RC mode, literally because my friend, every time he joined the stream, he would spam, I don't know how many of them, but he used it at least like 10,000 times in I think 1 month from just joining streams and using it. And I'm going to quickly go and get my glasses to become cool. Time to become cool. The next year, your two most used emotes could be. It could be. Because the thing is, I don't know if it resets in January or if it would reset now, if that makes sense. Or I guess, I'm assuming it might reset next year, but I'm not 100% sure. I also should probably get my timer set up before, oops, wrong one, before I do this. Otherwise, I will not be able to see my phone and navigate to the timer, but we'll see how this goes. Let's see, I can see. Partially. Clock. Timer. 5 minutes. Okay, time to play this 5 minutes. How I'm gonna get anywhere, I don't know. I also can't hear, because trying to wear headphones with these is horrible to try and set up. Where do I... Okay, I gotta go up. No. I'm at the right spot. I think. No, I went past it. Yeah, I went past it. Okay, time to head back a little bit. I gotta go over to here. There we go, this is my stop. There's one of the... let's test. How often was dog used in your current summary? Let me check. Actually, I'll do it after I finish wearing these, so I don't waste time wearing this. Let's quickly see. So I gotta go down there. There's also the one up. Where was it? I'm trying to find this thing. I know it was near one of the thingies that you need to activate. Oh, maybe it was that one. Well, there's a scarab over there, and there's the one... Actually, I can press X. Okay, it's behind me. It's over this way, back in the cave. But I think most of those dogs are actually from Unicorn, just when you pop in every now and then, you've used it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's in here, right? Yeah, it is. Okay. Anyway, let's go through here. Can you see? I can somewhat see. Not well, but I can see. And I think that's the important bit. Now, toot toot. Thank you for the thingy. Someone's sawing. I wonder what they're sawing. But either way, it doesn't matter to me. All I know is I can hear it. Then now we go down, or up, across, whichever way I need to actually go. Yeah, okay, down here is where I gotta go. I gotta, yeah, go down. I can't go down for, actually I can, yes, haha. So it's in here somewhere, is where the thing is. So let's head up. And then up. And then do that. And then up a little more. Up more. Didn't mean to go, wait, where am I going? I need to get to over there. So I gotta go up and get started. My brain. Where am I going? I'm so confused. But if I turn this off, or turn it on, I guess. No, that doesn't change anything. So wake up! Wake up! Just wanna, no, so with 200, 200 should be enough, unless things get spammed throughout the year. 200, I'd think would be enough. So how do I actually get over to there? I gotta get into there. Oh, I was in the right spot. Damn it. But now I gotta go back. I blame the glasses. Okay, that's what I'm gonna put the blame on. The glasses. I couldn't see where I had to go properly because of these damn glasses. That's what I'm pinning it on. Now we gotta go out here. And go up here. I didn't want to spawn more slugs. Now I will get up there. How are we doing? How do I do it? I guess I'll grab you. And how do I get across? How do I get hit up? Huh. Oh, because I gotta go through that gap. Never mind, I'm dumb. Again, blame it on glasses. I at least have a good excuse now. I can blame it all on glasses. I don't care what anyone says, because I don't know what I see. Not quite. Also, I'll quickly read in a minute. Yes, I made it! Okay, and I can take my glasses off. I can actually see. And breathe. And it must not be number one. Just in top 5 to see if December counts. Yeah, I mean, if it's in top 5, that means December would count. Now let me quickly check. So now I can check it on my phone as well. Go over to here. Show me my Twitch recap real quick. I can check. Why does it want me to log in? I'm coming from my Twitch account. I can't be bothered to log in. I will check after stream and let you know what the number's at, if it shows a number. Now we do this. We do that. Okay, there we go. Now if I turn... No. Weaveling's right here. I have an idea. We do that. We go... Oops, gotta hit the thing on time. There we go. No. I thought maybe down there would be a thingy, but I can't go down there. So where is this damn Weaveling? I found it. Okay, is that all the Weavelings? I think that's all the Weavelings. So now I gotta figure out how to get into this area, to that thing. Which that thing is a whole different story. No, don't do that. Don't do this to be game. So yeah, how am I getting into that little area there? Because I think I gotta, I think I gotta use this thing. But it's just, I feel like it shoots me too... I mean, if I can even get to the right spot to begin with. Oh, there we go. I believe it. Be stupid if you go there with 9. At least everyone that told you. Yeah. Where is the last one? I know. Would you possibly be able to maybe tell? Oh, yes. While I'm here, in this area, I guess I might as well at least get to the thing over here and do the scarab up the top. It's on the map, it is. Am I blind? I feel like I'm blind. Oh, it's over to the left. I see. Can I get to the top doing this? I don't think I can I? No, I can't. Damn. Oh, I guess I just have to climb. Oops. There are 3 things on your map? I mean, I know there's the 2... Well, the one scarab up here. I didn't see... Oh, and the thing that was down there. I didn't see anything else. Oops, that was the right way. Oops. And up here. There we go. There we go. Up. Up. Now I gotta get... No, I just gotta mess with the thingy over there. Okay. And... There's 1. And... Okay, I'm fine with that exploding. I really can't get in that little gap, can I? Just go at the very... I say, go at the very edge. There we go. There's that one. There's 2 birds with 1 stone. Damn it! Play a game. Worst scarab at last. So this is a lot. Of course, I've left the most annoying scarab for last. Let's try it again. No. There we go. Okay, got it. I thought I was about to set it so I didn't get a new thing. Okay. Just gotta do that again. And... There's 1. I don't even know what that was. Whatever it was, it wasn't a very good hit, I guess. Yeah, there's another one. Just 2 more. Just 1 more. I was about to say... Oh, I want to go through there and say... I was going to go through there and say... I feel like this one hasn't... There's definitely been worse ones. I feel like this scarab isn't too bad. Ow. Imagine this. Right. And there we go. Scarab done. Now to get out of here. Honestly, getting out of these places is the worst. I have more trouble getting out than I do getting into some of these places. I mean, actually doing that won't even get me out of... How am I getting out of here? Okay, that's how. That's how I'm getting out of here. Okay, now, I guess we gotta go, where was it again? Down there, okay. Can I go off the edge? I can't, damn it. Imagine this without slug vac, which can happen in randomizer. That's what he says. I can imagine it would be very annoying in the doing that without without a slug vac in the randomizer. Now, I guess getting down to there. I think if I go down here, I can use the green one, can't I? I think. Could be wrong. I'm pretty sure over here I can jump onto the green somewhere. Too complicated? Yeah, it's just getting to the end of the game, trying to collect all the things and everything. Is it down more? I can get on? I swear there was somewhere around here that I can get on. Maybe I'm wrong. Might have been wrong. Yeah, I was wrong. I guess I'll just get on the thing from here. Leftwood, B1, yeah. You go sleep. Now it's too late. Bye, sleep. Okay. Well, I hope you have a good sleep, Minicorn, and enjoy your day when you wake up. But yeah, thank you for stopping by, even though it's quite late for you. But it's very much appreciated. Okay, so yeah, we want to take the green one. Did it work? I see. So when do you start work, Unicorn? Over left a little bit more. And this is my stop. Now it's over... Oh, I thought I'd already been somewhere over there. I probably have. 4:30? Okay, well at least you can get a little bit of sleep before you have work then. Get me out of work. Yeah, work do be like that sometimes. Oh, I was about to fall without having it. Anyway, there is that. Now I've got all the... Oh yeah, because I would have gotten the achievement if I had no wicklings left. Yeah. Okay, now we head back. Jump on that. And use this. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't bounce you the whole way up. I don't know why. There we go, that time it worked. Yeah, this is my stop. Wiggling? Yeah, got the last wiggling. Now, we do the thing, and then we do another thing, and then I'm done. Okay, now I ride this one. If you hold right or left, I get different momentums. Oh, Wicker King, I see. Okay, is this where I want to get off? Not. Yes. I was about to say not yet. This is where I want to get off. I guess I get to be the Wicker King now, since I got all of the Wicker links. The day has finally come where I get to be a king. Then again, I never really dreamt of being a king, so... Okay, there we go. The last thingy! Now I'm guessing I want to go down there and see them. And invite this thing into the world with a party thing. So that's down this way, isn't it? Over here somewhere. God, I cannot remember. Yeah, down here in this area, right there. Area correctly. What do you mean? Is it not Wicker King? What am I reading wrong? What's the hey thing? It is? What was I saying before? I thought I was saying Wicker King. I don't know. Know what you said? Ah, I guess I was saying something before. I was saying a word that apparently was that. There we go, up. Now we just head all the other way. You looked over the egg area 3 times before you realized? Yeah. So I was expecting to be able to see the egg. Or just one of the people, but I forgot you don't. You know, I'm just not very observant. That's what I'm putting it down to. Because now I have no excuse. Because I'm not wearing the glasses. Oh, I think it's here, isn't it? It's back. It's back this way, isn't it? Down here. So I guess the best way to get down to there is actually the clam area. Off to the clam area. Is an excuse for some people. I was able to see because I didn't wear glasses. I guess that is an excuse for some people. I mean, it's just that I can't use that as an excuse now because I wasn't wearing those glasses. Okay, now here. And yeah, now I can see the egg. Here we are! Wahoo! Life is returning. The end. You're pretty. You look almost like a giant mosquito. For centuries have I waited, dreaming of the outside world. With my birth, the cycle of island ancients will start again. As I spread my wings and fly across the ocean, new islands will sprout. Come, Yoku, join me on my journey. You have earned it. I get to fly on a giant thing? I can't complain. Are we going? Okay, we are, yeah. I can see my name from here. Oh yeah, because there'd be, I guess this would have credits. So yeah, you will. Now, I think I still have one achievement left to do. But I'll wait for it to go through the credits. You have all? Oh, what was that? All of them. Well, I guess I've now 100%ed Yoku. Let's go! Now, I need to figure out what game I want to do now, because I don't think I have any downloaded, and I guess I'll probably just do Minecraft for the last, like, hour. But yeah, because, now I need to think. Double check? Yeah, I'll double check. The thing is, I won't be able to stream for, like, a week after next Tuesday, or I guess after next Monday, sort of. So I don't want to really start a long game, because I'll get, like, basically start it, and then have to wait, like, a week and a bit until I can even do it, or play it more. The last 5 were Perfectionist, Wickling, The End, Thorn's Quest, and I guess Collectionist. All abilities. I guess I'll just double check and make sure I do have everything. You know, the more I look at this thing, it's almost like a seahorse with wings. It's like a, flying seahorse with wings and spider legs. So then start another game. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to do a short game. Or I could just stream Minecraft and then do another game when I come back. I don't think I really have any games where I'd be able to beat it in just a few things. Adventure is a short game? I guess I could look into getting that. I'll have to look. Because how much is it? I guess I'll have to check in a minute. Still 10 to 15 hours? Yeah. I mean, I guess it's a game that you could sort of come back to after a bit. The thing is, I will be able to stream. The only time I'll be able to stream a full game would be, I think Sunday, because I'm going somewhere on Saturday. So Sunday, yeah, like Sunday and Monday. I only really be able to stream 2 more times, I think. And then Friday, which I'll do Minecraft, because it's longer, because I start late around like 4:35, so I'll do a Minecraft then. So maybe I'll just do like 3 Minecraft streams and then play a game, or play a new game when I come back. And there we go. Thanks for playing. Well, thank you for making game. Or testing randomizer. I guess I could also do that. Let me quickly check. Do I have all of the achievements? I'm missing 1 achievement. What achievement am I missing? It's a hidden one. I'm back in game and open map. I guess so. Over here. Continue. I mean, it says I've got 100%, but obviously I'm missing something. It can only be 1 out of 3. Okay. One of them I can see on map. Okay. Oops, why did I do that? Okay. Thing is, I have no inclination to whatsoever it is, since it's a hidden one. Hey, Zinth. How are you going? Okay. Can you talk to Ojva? Who's that again? Where are they? Is that you? No, you're Nim. It's not you, is it? No, you're the Willow dude. That's Umbaka. A bit right and above in the village. Oh, do you mean... I think I know who you're Ride of Lemon. Do you mean the dude up... Oops. Through stats, yeah. Hello, sir. Oh, wait. Got it. I remember now because I was looking around at achievements and what I had to do for some of them. For the hidden ones. I just didn't toot enough. I can't believe I didn't toot enough during this game. There we go. Now I've 100%ed the game. Oh, wahoo! Want to see the stats? Okay, I'll show you the stats while we're at it as well. And up we go. Okay. I won't be here for a while. I just wanted to pop by and say hi. Yeah, well, we're just gonna talk. I appreciate you popping by, Zint. But yeah, I hope you have a good rest of your day. I want to say. It's either day, night, morning, or afternoon. It's one of the four. I have to get him eventually. No, don't you send me off the edge, controller. Yeah, thank you for stopping by, Zint. I guess we'll just go through all of these. Yes, little slugs. Almost 500 slugs. 407 times. Now, what is a rainbow rollover? Because I've apparently done 70. Is that where you go around your ball? I don't know. I'm assuming that's what it might be. Because either way, I've somehow done 77.